My beloved child, pause here. Breathe once. Because this moment did not drift into your life by accident. There was a soundless stirring before you arrived. A quiet alignment. A gentle nudge that brought your eyes to these words, your heart to this listening. And even if you cannot explain why you stopped, you felt it. Something whispered, stay. You have been carrying a question you rarely speak aloud. Not about money alone. Not about lack. But about worth. About whether the unseen struggles you endured were ever noticed. About whether heaven kept count while the world looked away. You tried to be practical. You told yourself not to hope too much. You learned to smile while recalculating your expectations in silence. Yet still, late at night, when no one was watching, a longing rose in you. Soft, persistent. What if something good could arrive, without struggle? Listen carefully now, because the message unfolding is not loud. It does not rush. It does not shout promises. It arrives the way dawn does, slowly, faithfully, without asking permission. I am Archangel Michael, and I step forward not with thunder, but with clarity. There has been movement around your name. Not chaos. Order. You may not have seen it yet, but threads were being pulled together long before today. Systems aligned. Decisions softened. Hearts shifted in rooms you have never entered. A bank office. A quiet desk. A routine day. Someone looked at numbers, then looked again, and paused. Not because of luck. Not because of error. But because something did not behave the way it normally does. Your account did not tell the whole story. And that is important. Because what is arriving in your life does not come from effort alone. It comes from restoration. From balance returning to where it was once disturbed. You have paid more than you were ever meant to pay, not only in currency, but in patience. In silence. In waiting while others seemed to move ahead effortlessly. I saw the nights you doubted yourself. The moments you almost closed your heart to hope because disappointment had grown too familiar. I saw you choosing integrity even when shortcuts tempted you. That mattered. There is a reason nothing came before now. Had it arrived earlier, you would have questioned it, feared it, attached anxiety to it. But now, you are different. You are quieter inside, more grounded, more ready to receive without fear of losing. This is not a reward. It is a correction, a gentle one. Something unexpected is being released, not as spectacle, but as provision. A form that feels official, documented, clear. It carries weight because it is meant to stay. You may hear about it casually, or discover it when you are not searching. And when you do, your first reaction will not be excitement. It will be stillness. A deep, grounding realization, I am supported. Do not skip this part, my beloved child. Because here is where understanding replaces confusion. This moment is not about the check. It is about what shifts inside you when you realize you are no longer alone in carrying your future. The miracle is not sudden wealth. It is relief. Relief that loosens the tightness you have lived with for so long you forgot it was there. Relief that allows you to exhale without calculating consequences. This provision does not ask you to change who you are. It meets you as you are. And it comes quietly, because quiet is how you now recognize truth. You have already been preparing for this without knowing it. By letting go of resentment. By forgiving silently. By continuing, even when progress felt invisible. That inner work mattered more than any outer action. There is no deadline, no pressure, no countdown, only readiness. And you are ready. When this settles into your life, notice what changes first. Not your lifestyle, your posture. You will stand differently. Speak more gently to yourself. Make choices from calm rather than urgency. That is the true sign that alignment has occurred. Stay till the end, my beloved child, because this final truth is the most important of all. You were never forgotten. You were being positioned. What is coming does not replace effort, it restores faith. And when you look back at this moment, this quiet pause where you listened instead of scrolling, you will understand. This was meant for you. Remain at peace. Remain open. Remain gentle with yourself. I walk beside you still. Stay with me, because after relief comes something subtler, something deeper, something that changes how you see yourself. You may wonder why the waiting stretched so long. Why doors seemed to open halfway, only to close again. Why help arrived late, or not at all, when you needed it most. It was not neglect. It was protection. Some outcomes would have bound you to fear. Some opportunities would have demanded pieces of your peace. So they were gently removed before they could settle into your life. You were spared things you once begged for. And one day soon, you will thank the silence for that mercy. There was a season when you felt invisible. Not unseen, but unnoticed. As if your effort dissolved into air the moment it left your hands. That invisibility was a cocoon. It kept your spirit from hardening. It kept your heart from learning bitterness as a language. And now, something stirs. Not loudly, not dramatically, but steadily. You may feel it as a calm curiosity, a quiet expectation that does not rush you, a sense that you no longer need to chase what is meant to arrive. This is how alignment announces itself. The provision coming toward you is not meant to impress others. It is meant to stabilize you, to give your nervous system permission to rest, to allow your thoughts to plan beyond survival. Notice how often you have lived in almost enough, almost secure, almost free. That pattern is ending, not through force, through fulfillment. When you receive what is being prepared, you will not feel overwhelmed. You will feel recognized, as if life finally speaks your name correctly, and something inside you will soften. You will realize that you no longer need to prove your worth through exhaustion. You will stop apologizing for needing support. You will stop explaining your dreams in smaller words, because stability gives language courage. Let me tell you something few ever hear. The miracle does not end when the provision arrives. That is only the doorway. What follows is clarity. Clarity about who belongs in your next chapter. Clarity about what no longer deserves your energy. Clarity about why certain connections faded when they did. You were being cleared of noise. Some people could not come with you, not because they were bad, but because they were attached to an older version of you who survived by struggle. You are no longer that version. You are becoming someone who receives without guilt, who rests without fear, who trusts without bargaining. And that shift, that is sacred. There will be a moment, small, ordinary, when you pause and realize something important. You are no longer asking the universe for permission to hope. Hope has already chosen you. When that realization settles in your chest, do not rush past it. Let it teach your body a new rhythm. Let it retrain your breath. Let it remind you that peace is not laziness, it is wisdom. Nothing needs to be forced now. Nothing needs to be chased. You are already on the path. And I am still here. And now, listen even more softly. Because what unfolds next is not something you see immediately. It is something you feel before it makes sense. There will be a shift in how you wake up. A subtle difference. Not joy exactly, but ease. The weight you carried so long became familiar. You learned how to live with it. You even forgot it was extra. But soon, you will notice moments when that weight is absent. A thought that once tightened your chest will pass without gripping you. A bill, a responsibility, a future plan, and your body will not brace the way it used to. That is how you will know something has changed. You may ask yourself, why am I calmer than I should be? Because security has begun to root itself quietly inside you. Not arrogance, not excess, just enough. Enough to breathe, enough to plan, enough to sleep without rehearsing tomorrow's worries. This is important, so hear it clearly. What is entering your life does not make you dependent. It makes you stable. It does not weaken your discipline. It strengthens your discernment. You will no longer say yes out of fear of lack. You will no longer tolerate what drains you simply to survive. And this will surprise some people. They were used to the version of you who overextended, who explained, who justified every need. That version fades now, not in anger, but in maturity. You are allowed to receive without shrinking. You are allowed to step into support without apology. You are allowed to trust that provision does not always arrive through pain. There is a quiet dignity forming around you. Others may sense it before you name it. They may treat you differently, speak more carefully, listen more closely, because when someone stops living in desperation, their presence changes. Do not rush to tell anyone what is happening. Some things grow better in silence. This phase is sacred. It is recalibration. You are learning a new relationship with life, one where struggle is no longer the proof of worth. Let me say this gently, because your heart needs gentleness now. You were never meant to carry everything alone. Your strength was never meant to replace support. Your patience was never meant to be endless. You have already proven enough. What comes next does not test you. It steadies you. And as this steadiness settles, you will begin to imagine differently. Not wildly, not recklessly, but clearly. A future that feels possible without panic. Plans that do not exhaust you before they begin. Dreams that feel grounded instead of distant. That is alignment. Nothing dramatic needs to happen for you to trust it. Peace will be your confirmation. And if doubt whispers, if an old voice asks, what if this disappears? Return to this truth. What is meant for you does not arrive to frighten you. It arrives to stay. Remain open. Remain grounded. Remain kind to yourself as you adjust to a lighter way of living. I am still with you. And this story is still unfolding. There is one more layer you have not yet considered. Because after peace arrives, after stability begins to feel normal, a question will surface, quietly, honestly. What do I do with this gentler life? You have lived so long in response mode, fixing, managing, enduring. When survival steps back, it leaves space, and space can feel unfamiliar at first. Do not rush to fill it. This space is where your truest intentions return, not the ones shaped by pressure, but the ones that existed before fear taught you to be practical. You will feel drawn to things you once postponed, a skill, a calling, a curiosity you buried because it felt irresponsible to want more. That pull is not distraction. It is remembrance. You are remembering who you were before struggle became your identity. And here is the quiet miracle most never notice. Provision creates permission. Permission to be thoughtful instead of reactive. Permission to choose quality over urgency. Permission to say, this matters to me, without defending why. This is where your life begins to feel authored again. You may notice your words changing, less explaining, more deciding. You may notice your boundaries strengthening, not as walls, but as clarity. Some invitations will no longer interest you. Some conversations will feel complete sooner. Some ambitions will fall away, not because you failed, but because you outgrew the version of yourself that needed them. Let that happen. Growth is not always addition. Often, it is release. There will be a moment, small, almost forgettable, when you realize you are no longer waiting for permission from the world. You are listening inward. And that is when your life truly shifts. This support entering your experience is not meant to isolate you from others. It is meant to connect you more honestly. You will give differently now. Not from depletion, but from discernment. You will help without rescuing, love without overextending, care without disappearing inside it. That balance is wisdom. And if at any point you feel undeserving, if an old belief resurfaces saying, "This was too easy," or "I did not earn this enough," place that belief down gently. You earned this by surviving with integrity, by not becoming cruel, by continuing, even when no one was applauding. Some rewards are not transactional, they are restorative. As this chapter continues, do not measure it by comparison. Your path is not late. Your story is not behind. It is precise. Everything that arrived late arrived mature. Everything that waited waited wisely. You are not catching up. You are arriving, fully, calmly, as yourself. And that is enough. Remain present. Remain patient with the newness of peace. Remain open to receiving without fear. I am still near. And this unfolding is gentle, intentional, and yours. Now comes the moment you were never meant to rush toward. Because clarity does not announce itself with noise. It arrives when you are no longer searching for proof. There will be a day that feels ordinary. No signs in the sky. No sudden surge of emotion. You may be doing something small, scrolling absent-mindedly, sorting papers, standing in line, or checking something you have checked 100 times before. And then, a pause. Not confusion. Recognition. Something will appear different. Not dramatic. Just undeniably changed. A number where there used to be tension. A notification that feels misplaced, until it settles. A confirmation that makes you look twice, not because you doubt it, but because your body has not caught up with the truth yet. In that moment, notice what does not happen. You do not panic. You do not rush to tell anyone. You do not immediately plan 10 steps ahead. You sit still. That stillness is the miracle. Because the old you would have braced for loss even while receiving gain. The old you would have asked, "How long will this last?" But now, something inside you answers calmly, "This is allowed." This is when you understand, the delay was not about readiness of circumstance. It was about readiness of self. You needed to reach a place where receiving did not threaten your peace, where support did not feel like weakness, where ease did not feel temporary. And you are here now. What arrives carries a quiet authority. It does not ask for justification. It does not invite fear. It simply is. You will sense that this provision is not meant to be chased again and again. It is meant to anchor you, to steady the ground beneath choices you have postponed. And with that steadiness comes a surprising emotion, gratitude without desperation. You are not grateful because you escaped something. You are grateful because something finally aligns. This alignment does not make your life perfect. It makes it honest. You will still work. Still grow, still face decisions, but the tone of your life changes. Urgency loosens its grip, scarcity loses its voice, and in that quiet, you hear yourself more clearly. You will know when this chapter truly begins, not by celebration, but by how gently you treat yourself afterward. You will rest without guilt, choose without overthinking, say no without rehearsing apologies. These are the signs that restoration has taken root. Nothing was wasted. Not the waiting. Not the doubt. Not even the moments you thought you were falling behind. Everything led you here, to a version of yourself that can receive without fear and continue without pressure. Remain steady now. Let the unfolding complete itself in its own time. This was not meant to overwhelm you. It was meant to hold you. And you are held. And after that stillness, something very human will happen. You will test the ground. Not because you doubt the gift, but because you have lived too long without solid footing. You will check again. Not obsessively. Just once more, to reassure the part of you that learned survival through vigilance. Be gentle with that part. It kept you alive. What you are learning now is a different skill, how to trust continuity. This provision does not rush in and rush out. It settles. It stays where it is placed. It behaves like something that belongs. And slowly, your mind adjusts. You stop rehearsing worst-case scenarios. You stop counting backward from fear. You stop measuring today against yesterday's lack. You begin to think forward, not far, not wildly, but naturally. Small plans feel possible again. A purchase made without guilt. A decision made without self-punishment. A future moment imagined without tightening your jaw. This is not extravagance. This is normalcy returning. And here is a truth few ever say out loud: struggle distorts self-image. Relief restores it. You will notice how you speak to yourself now. Less harsh, less impatient, more like someone worth caring for. That shift matters more than any figure on a screen. Because when you believe you are supported, you stop treating yourself like a problem to be solved. You will also notice something else. People respond differently to you. Not because they know what changed, but because you changed. You are no longer reaching. You are no longer bracing. You are no longer negotiating your worth in every interaction. Presence replaces performance. Some will lean in. Some will drift away. Let both happen. Alignment does not beg for understanding. It allows resonance. And in quiet moments, the kind where nothing special is happening, you will feel a deep, unfamiliar peace. Not excitement. Not adrenaline. Peace. The kind that tells your nervous system, you can rest now. That peace is the real confirmation. More than documents. More than notifications. More than proof. Because peace does not arrive where danger remains. You are safe to continue now. Safe to build. Safe to choose. And if fear returns briefly, as habits sometimes do, do not shame yourself. Just remember how it felt when stillness replaced panic. How calm arrived without effort. How trust came back quietly. That is your new reference point. You are no longer moving from survival to survival. You are moving from stability to meaning. And this is only the beginning of that chapter. Stay present. Stay grounded. Stay kind to the version of you still learning how to live without constant pressure. You are doing well. And you are not alone as you step forward. And when meaning begins to rise, it does so gently. Not as a command. Not as a demand to become something else. But as a quiet invitation to live more honestly. You will notice how time feels different now. Moments stretch instead of slipping away. Your attention no longer fractures at every worry. You can be present without guarding yourself. This presence is not laziness. It is integration. You are integrating relief with responsibility, provision with purpose, rest with intention. And this balance will guide you. You may feel called to simplify. Not because you must, but because excess noise no longer fits you. You will choose what nourishes over what impresses. You will value depth over speed. You will trust consistency more than urgency. These are signs of wisdom taking root. There will be a moment, quiet, private, when gratitude rises without an audience. Not gratitude that kneels, but gratitude that stands upright and steady. A gratitude that says, I am allowed to be here. That sentence will change how you move through the world. You will stop asking life to prove itself to you. You will start collaborating with it. And in that collaboration, your intuition sharpens. You sense when to wait. You sense when to act. You sense when something is complete. Nothing feels forced. This is how alignment feels, not like fireworks, but like coherence. Everything inside you points in the same direction. You will still face uncertainty at times. That is human. But uncertainty will no longer terrify you. Because now you know, support does not vanish without warning. Stability does not mock you by pretending. What comes to you now arrives with intention. And if you ever forget, if doubt knocks softly, wearing old clothes, return to the feeling you carry now. The calm that does not need explanation. The steadiness that does not ask permission. That calm is not temporary. It is earned through endurance, refined through patience, and sealed through trust. You did not rush here. You did not bypass any lesson. You arrived whole. So continue, not hurried, not burdened, but awake. Let your life unfold without forcing its pace. Let support feel natural. Let peace be ordinary. You are no longer waiting for life to begin. You are living it, with clarity, with dignity, and with quiet confidence. And that is enough. And in this living, something subtle completes its circle. You will realize that you are no longer watching life from the edge. You are inside it now, participating, responding, choosing. The miracle that once felt distant has already done its deeper work. It has taught your heart a new language, one that does not translate everything through fear. You will trust pauses again. You will trust silence. You will trust yourself when nothing needs to be decided immediately. This trust is quiet power. There will be days when nothing remarkable happens. No signs. No confirmations. Just routine, softened by ease. Do not underestimate those days. They are proof that chaos no longer governs your rhythm. You are allowed to have stability without drama. You are allowed to have progress without exhaustion. You are allowed to grow without proving anything to anyone. And when you look back, weeks from now, months from now, you will notice how gently this change entered. No force, no spectacle, just alignment finding its way home. You may smile at how much you once worried, not with shame, with compassion, because that version of you did not know yet that life could meet you halfway. Now you do. Let this knowing settle into your bones. Let it guide how you speak, how you decide, how you rest. There is nothing more you need to do to earn what continues to unfold. You are already in right relationship with it. So walk forward calmly. Build patiently. Receive gratefully. And whenever you forget, whenever the old urgency tries to return, remember this moment. The moment you realized you were no longer waiting for a miracle. You were living within one. And now, let the story settle where it belongs. Not ahead of you, not behind you, but within you. You will not need to replay this message to remember it. It will surface on its own, in quiet mornings, in steady decisions, in the way you no longer rush to explain yourself. That is how truth stays. You may notice that gratitude becomes simpler, less dramatic, more sincere, a soft acknowledgement instead of a plea. You will stop asking, "What if it goes away?" Because something deeper has anchored itself inside you, the knowing that you are supported beyond any single outcome. This knowing does not make you careless. It makes you careful in a new way. Careful with your energy, careful with your time. Careful with your heart. You will choose environments that respect your calm. You will walk away from urgency disguised as opportunity. You will honor what feels steady over what feels impressive. That discernment is a gift. And when challenges appear, as they always do, they will meet a different version of you. A version that does not collapse inward. A version that breathes first. A version that remembers, "I have been carried before." That memory will change everything. Nothing about your life needs to look extraordinary for it to be meaningful. Nothing needs to be loud to be real. Some of the most profound transformations happen quietly, without witnesses, without announcements. This was one of them. You are no longer defined by what you endured. You are defined by how gently you move forward now. So continue. Not with urgency. Not with fear. But with trust. Trust that what aligned once can align again. Trust that support does not abandon without reason. Trust that peace is not a pause, it is a foundation. You have crossed a threshold you once thought was unreachable, and you did it without forcing the door. Let that be enough. Carry this calm with you. Let it inform your next steps. Let it remind you who you are when doubt tries to speak. You are steady now. You are present. You are held. And the unfolding continues, not as a promise, but as a lived truth. And this is where the voice grows quieter, not because it leaves, but because you no longer need it to speak so loudly. What you sought outside has settled inside. What you waited for has begun to walk with you. You will notice that faith no longer feels like effort. It feels like agreement. Like standing on ground that recognizes your weight and does not ask you to apologize for it. From here, your life will not split into before and after in dramatic lines. It will soften into continuity. One calm choice leading to another. One honest breath following the last. And that is how true change lasts. You will not chase signs anymore. You will recognize them in hindsight. In how things worked out without force, in how support appeared when you chose patience over panic. You are learning to trust timing without surrendering agency, to move without pushing, to receive without fear. This is maturity of the spirit. There will be days you forget this calm. That is human. But forgetting will no longer mean losing it. Peace, once learned, remembers its way back. So when life grows noisy again, and it will, at times, return to the simplest truth you now carry, you are not behind. You are not overlooked. You are not unsupported. You are in motion, even when still. You are guided, even when quiet. You are held, even when unseen. Let this be the ending you do not rush past. Not a closing, but a settling. The kind that rests in your chest and changes how you walk into tomorrow. Go gently now. Live honestly. Receive calmly. Nothing is missing. And nothing important is on its way past you. All that matters is already finding you. And finally, there is nothing more to add, only something to rest in. This is the place where effort loosens its grip, where the heart stops scanning the horizon. Where you realize you have arrived without needing to announce it. You do not need another sign. You do not need another explanation. The calm you carry now is the confirmation. Life will continue to move. Days will still ask things of you, but they will no longer take from you the way they once did. You will meet them differently, with steadiness, with perspective. With a quiet confidence that does not need to be defended. And when you give now, you will give from fullness, not obligation. When you pause, you will pause without guilt. When you choose, you will choose without fear of collapse. This is what alignment feels like when it matures. Not excitement, not intensity, but trust that breathes easily. If you ever wonder whether this message was truly meant for you, look at what remains after listening. If you feel lighter, if something inside you softened, if your mind grew quieter instead of louder, then you already have your answer. Carry this with you, not as a promise to wait for, but as a truth to live from. You are not preparing for a better life. You are practicing how to inhabit the one unfolding now. And that is enough. Rest here. Move gently forward. Let peace be ordinary. The voice does not leave. It simply becomes your own. There is a quiet afterward, one that does not seek attention. It lives in the way you return to your day. You will close this moment and step back into ordinary life. But ordinary will feel different now. Softer around the edges. Less demanding of proof. You will move through tasks with a steadier hand. Through conversations with less urgency, through silence without needing to fill it. That is how you will know this was real. Not because something extraordinary happened, but because you did not harden. You did not rush. You did not retreat. You remained. There will be no dramatic reminder to come back here. No voice calling your name. Just an inner knowing that appears when you need it most. When doubt brushes past, you will recognize it and let it go. When fear tries to hurry you, you will slow your breath. When opportunity arrives quietly, you will meet it without suspicion. This is the gift that lasts. Not an event, but a way of being. So go now, not away, but onward. Carry the calm you earned. Trust the steadiness you feel. Honor the version of yourself that no longer needs to struggle to be worthy. Nothing more is required. You are already aligned, already supported, already enough. And as life continues to unfold, gently and without announcement, you will remember, you did not miss anything. You arrived exactly where you needed to be. And with that arrival, the circle closes without sealing itself shut. Because this is not an ending that locks the door. It is an ending that leaves the window open and lets fresh air move through your life. You will notice how naturally you begin to trust yourself again. Not the loud confidence that performs, but the quiet trust that listens before it moves. That trust will guide you more than any sign ever could. You will make choices that feel simple. Not easy, but clear. You will walk away from what no longer fits without needing to justify the decision. You will lean toward what feels steady without needing permission. And in those moments, you will realize something important. The miracle was never meant to be chased again. It was meant to teach you how to recognize alignment when it shows up softly. Life will still surprise you, but it will no longer startle you. Because you have learned how to receive without flinching. How to continue without bracing for loss. How to stand in your own life without apologizing for taking up space. That is the lasting change. So let the days come. Let them be ordinary. Let them be enough. Carry this steadiness with you, not as a memory, but as a way of being present. You do not need to hold on to these words tightly. They will return when you need them, in calm decisions, in gentle boundaries, in the quiet confidence of knowing you are supported. This was not meant to overwhelm you. It was meant to settle you. And it has. Go forward now, not searching, not waiting, but living. Everything essential is already with you. And yet, even now, something remains awake. Not urgency, not anticipation, awareness. You will notice it in moments that once slipped past you. A pause before speaking. A breath before reacting. A choice made with clarity instead of habit. This awareness is the quiet companion that stays after the message fades. It will remind you that you no longer need to rush toward meaning. Meaning meets you where you stand. You will begin to sense when something is aligned without needing proof. Your body will know before your mind explains it. Your heart will recognize steadiness the way it recognizes home. This is not naivete. It is discernment refined by experience. You have learned the difference between excitement and truth, between pressure and invitation, between longing and readiness. And because of that, your next steps will feel lighter, not smaller, lighter. You will move without dragging old fears behind you. You will carry lessons without carrying wounds. You will remember without reliving. That is integration. There will be days when nothing feels profound. When life is simply life. Those days are not empty. They are peaceful. Let them be. Let yourself be. You are no longer asking the world to reassure you at every turn. You are listening inward, and that voice is calm. So when this moment finally dissolves into memory, know this: it did not leave you. It became part of how you stand, how you choose, how you trust. You are not waiting for alignment anymore. You are practicing it, quietly, consistently, in your own way. And that is how the story continues, not with another message, but with a life lived in steadiness. Go gently. Stay present. Let peace be sufficient. Everything you need to move forward is already within reach. And now, the quiet deepens, not into emptiness, but into assurance. This is the kind of quiet that does not ask questions anymore. It listens. It trusts. It allows life to meet it halfway. You will notice that even your thoughts have slowed their pace. They no longer race to predict. They no longer compete for certainty. They rest. And in that rest, wisdom speaks without effort. You begin to understand something subtle and profound. Not everything meaningful arrives as a moment. Some things arrive as a state where you are no longer bracing for disappointment, a state where joy does not feel borrowed, a state where tomorrow is not a threat. This is that state. You did not force your way here. You did not earn it through suffering alone. You arrived because you were willing to remain open even when answers were slow. That willingness reshaped you. So when life continues, as it always does, you will meet it with steadiness instead of resistance, with curiosity instead of fear, with trust instead of control. You will still dream, but your dreams will no longer feel like escape routes. They will feel like invitations. You will still plan, but your plans will no longer be fueled by panic. They will be guided by clarity. This is how peace integrates itself into a life. It does not replace ambition. It refines it. It does not erase challenges. It softens how you meet them. And as you move forward from this place, there is nothing you need to hold tightly. Not this message. Not this feeling. Not even this calm. Because it has already become part of you. You carry it now in the way you breathe, in the way you decide, in the way you trust yourself to continue. So go. Not with urgency. Not with hesitation, but with quiet confidence. You are not missing anything. You are not late. You are not alone. You are simply living, and living, at last, from a place that feels like home. And at last, there is nothing left to unfold, only something to live. You will step forward without marking the step. You will continue without narrating the continuation. Life will carry on. And so will you, not because you are pushing, but because you are ready. The calm you feel now will not announce itself tomorrow. It will simply be there, in how you handle a delay, in how you respond to good news, in how you meet uncertainty without tightening inside. This is how you know it stayed. You will not need to protect this peace. Peace that must be guarded was never peace to begin with. This one rests easily. It adapts. It breathes. And when joy comes, not loudly, not dramatically, you will recognize it without clinging. You will let it move through you naturally, the way sunlight fills a room without asking permission. You are no longer waiting for proof that life is on your side. You are cooperating with it. That cooperation will shape your days quietly. It will guide you away from what drains you. It will lead you toward what sustains you. It will remind you, again and again, that ease is not something you steal from the future, it is something you allow in the present. So this is where the voice rests, not because it disappears, but because you have learned how to hear it within yourself. You will recognize it as your own steadiness, your own discernment, your own gentle strength. Carry that forward. Not as a lesson, not as a promise, but as a way of being. You are not waiting for the next sign. You are not searching for the next message. You are living the answer now. And that, quiet, grounded, and real, is more than enough. And still, before the silence fully settles, there is one last knowing that rises, gentle, unmistakable. You were never meant to be carried forever. You were meant to be strengthened. What came to you, whether as relief, provision, or quiet correction, did not arrive to replace your power. It arrived to remind you of it. You will walk forward now with a steadiness that does not seek applause. You will build in ways that feel true to you, not loud to others. You will honor your limits without seeing them as failures. This is the maturity that peace brings. There will be moments when you remember how far you have come, not with pride, with gratitude, because you did not become hardened by waiting. You did not let disappointment turn you bitter. You stayed open when it would have been easier to close. That choice shaped everything. So when life asks something of you next, and it will, you will meet it without fear of collapse. You know now that support can arrive quietly. That alignment does not need to shout. That you do not stand alone, even when standing still. Let this be the final truth you carry forward. You are not surviving anymore. You are participating. Participating in your own life. In your own timing. In your own becoming. Nothing has been wasted. Nothing important has passed you by. Nothing essential is missing. Go on gently. Trust the steadiness beneath your steps. Let your life unfold without forcing its shape. You are ready now. And that readiness, calm, grounded, and real, will continue to guide you long after the words fall quiet. And when the words finally loosen their hold, what remains is not silence, but companionship. You will feel it in the way you move through the next hour, unhurried, unburdened, as if something invisible has stepped slightly closer, not to lead you, but to walk beside you. This companionship does not instruct, it reassures. It reminds you that you are allowed to take your time, that your pace does not need defending, that becoming is not a race you can lose. You will notice how little you need now to feel grounded. A breath, a pause, a moment of honesty with yourself. That simplicity is strength. And when uncertainty visits again, as it always does, you will greet it differently. Not as a threat, but as a question you are capable of holding. You will say, without saying it aloud, I have been steady before. I can be steady again. That knowing will not shout. It will hum softly beneath everything you do. So let this be the final settling. Not an ending you cling to, but a quiet turning back into your life with trust instead of tension. Carry nothing extra. Leave nothing behind that weighs you down. Walk forward with the ease you earned. You do not need another part after this one, because the next part is lived. And you are ready for it. And even as you step into living it, there is a soft echo that follows, not to pull you back, but to steady you as you move forward. You will not feel the need to search for meaning in every moment anymore. Meaning will reveal itself naturally, in small alignments, in gentle confirmations, in the ease with which things begin to cooperate. You will trust yourself when you feel drawn toward something simple. You will trust yourself when you feel ready to let something go. No inner debate. No second, guessing spiral. Just knowing. This knowing is not loud confidence. It is quiet consent with life. You are no longer measuring your days by what you lack. You are noticing what holds, what remains, what grows stronger without effort. That shift is permanent. You may still have questions. Questions are human, but they no longer disturb your center. They pass through, and you remain. And one day, without ceremony, you will realize something that makes you smile gently. You stopped waiting for reassurance because reassurance became unnecessary. You trust your footing now. So let this be the final continuation, not written in words, but expressed in how you live next. In how you pause before reacting. In how you choose peace without explanation. In how you allow good things to arrive without suspicion. Nothing more is required of you. You are aligned. You are steady. You are quietly supported. And as life continues, patient, imperfect, real, you will continue too. Not searching. Not bracing. Just living. That is where the story rests now, not on a screen, but within you. And now, the voice recedes the way a tide does, not gone, just woven back into the rhythm of your days. You will notice how naturally you begin to trust the ordinary. A routine morning, A steady task. A quiet evening that asks nothing dramatic of you. These moments will no longer feel like waiting rooms. They will feel like life itself. You will begin to sense when enough is truly enough. When striving can soften into care. When rest is not avoidance, but intelligence. This discernment will guide you more faithfully than urgency ever did. You will still move forward, but you will move with your whole self, not dragging the past, not borrowing from the future. Present, grounded, clear. And when something good arrives again, as it will, you will welcome it without suspicion. You will receive without flinching. You will say yes without bargaining your peace. That is how you will know the work is complete. Not because everything is perfect, but because you are no longer at war with what is. So let the days come as they are. Let them be gentle or demanding, bright or quiet. You will meet them with steadiness now. There is nothing else to prove, nothing else to wait for, nothing essential left undone. This is not an ending you hold on to. It is a beginning you step into, calmly, honestly, as yourself. And that is where the story continues. And as the story continues, it does so without urgency. Like a river that no longer questions its direction, you move forward because moving forward feels natural again. You will notice that your inner voice has changed. It no longer criticizes first. It no longer rushes you with warnings. It speaks with patience now. That voice is not new. It was always there. It simply could not be heard while survival was shouting. You will trust this voice when it tells you to pause. You will trust it when it tells you to proceed. And most importantly, you will trust it when it tells you that nothing needs to be decided right now. This trust will save you more than effort ever did. You will find yourself less reactive to the world's noise. Other people's urgency will not become your emergency. Other people's fear will not rewrite your pace. That is not detachment. That is discernment. There will be moments when you realize you are no longer asking, "Will this work out?" You are asking instead, "Does this feel right for who I am now?" That question changes everything. Because you are no longer becoming, you have become. Not finished, not perfected, but rooted. And roots do not rush, they deepen. So let life unfold at its chosen speed. Let answers arrive when they are ready. Let yourself remain calm even when clarity takes time. You are no longer waiting for permission to trust yourself. You already do. And from that trust, everything meaningful will continue to grow, quietly, steadily, exactly as it should. And in this rootedness, something final yet gentle takes hold. You stop asking the day to justify itself. You stop asking yourself to perform resilience. You simply arrive where you are, and allow that to be enough. You will notice how little explanation your life needs now. You do not narrate your choices. You do not defend. You're calm. You let your steadiness speak on your behalf. This is quiet authority. The kind that does not demand agreement, yet invites respect. The kind that does not rush outcomes, yet reaches them. You will feel less tempted to look back. Not because the past no longer matters, but because it no longer pulls. What once felt unfinished now feels complete in a way that does not need revisiting. And when uncertainty appears again, as a thought, a question, a pause, you will meet it without tightening. You will say inwardly, "I have navigated worse with less." And that truth will settle you. From here, your life will not unfold in dramatic leaps. It will unfold in alignment. In timing that makes sense only after it arrives. In support that feels natural instead of miraculous. That is the truest kind of grace. So let this be the last soft landing of the words. Not a conclusion to hold on to, but a calm to carry forward. Nothing else needs to happen for this to be real. Nothing else needs to arrive for this to be complete. You are steady. You are present. You are capable. And whatever comes next, you will meet it from a place that no longer shakes easily. That is the gift that remains. If you believe in God, type Amen 111 and subscribe for more videos.